What's up, Dupe City fam? Welcome back to the Unmagical series by Dupe City Co. Today we are recreating Magic Candle Company's Orleans candle using the same exact fragrance oil that you can get from Nature's Garden, and it's called Cotton and Blossoms. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everybody that I'm in no way affiliated with Magic Candle Company, and I make no profit off any of the products that I recreate. Which is great for all of you because I have more products than I will ever use myself. We have a giveaway on the horizon beginning sometime in August, and we're going to give these away unlabeled with just the original fragrance listed on the packaging. As you can see, I'm doing something a little different today. I'm actually going to review this Cotton and Blossoms fragrance before I show you how to make the candle. This is because that while creating this video, I uncovered something rather tragic and really concerning regarding the symbolism of this fragrance. Fully understanding that this scent is subjective, to me, this fragrance smells terrible. It aggravated my allergies and gave me an instant headache, and I was only working with just 1 ounce of it. If you're going to make this one, consider using a lesser 6 to 8% fragrance load. Aside from the smell making me physically sick, the overall concept of the scent is highly disturbing and suspiciously racist. To knowingly choose a fragrance called Cotton and Blossoms to represent a resort called Port Orleans is, well, it's all kinds of messed up. For those of you who don't know, or worse, don't care, cotton was grown in Louisiana for hundreds of years. And how do you think that cotton was harvested? Yeah, slave labor. Aside from that horror, what's worse is that New Orleans was a huge hub for slave trade. How about we choose to celebrate New Orleans for its rich culture and beautiful jazz music and leave the cotton references in the past where they belong? In a future video, I'll suggest a much better alternative to the Cotton and Blossoms fragrance the MCC uses for Orleans. It's not that I think the fragrance should be banned, it's just that it's a really tacky choice for this fragrance. And if you're still interested in checking out the scent, you can get 1 ounce of this for $2.85. I know that was a lot to process, but let's start making the candle. The first thing that we want to do is prep our candle tins. That way we can set them aside, and when our wax is melted and we have our coloring and fragrance in, we can just pour the candles. As in the other candle videos that I do, we're going to start by cleaning out the inside and outside of the candle tin with some rubbing alcohol, just to get rid of the dirt, debris, and any dust that might prevent the wick sticker from sticking and staying stuck. And using the same paper towel, I'm going to clean the bottoms of the wick tabs just to make sure that they also stick to the wick sticker. I pre-cut my wicks today, and the size of the wick is the same size that I typically use. The width is 0.625 of an inch, and the thickness is 0.5 millimeter. Now this wick, I'll link it below, it's going to give you the same exact crackling sound as the Magic Candle Company does. Putting the wicks in the wick tabs, it's so super easy. You just pick up the wick tab and slide the wick right into it. I'll show you. Now the fit is snug, and it's snug for a purpose. You don't want your wick floating around. And speaking of wicks floating around, you don't want to use hot glue to attach these because the heat from the candle actually melts the hot glue. That causes floating wick, and the wick can typically slide from one side of the tin to the other. Now to attach these using the double-sided wick sticker, just peel one side, place it on the bottom of the wick tab, and place the wick firmly in the center circle on the tin. Now I'm going to melt my wax. Now typically I'd have this done before I cleaned out the candle tins, just because using the wax melter or Presto pot, you can have that melting and keep an eye on it while you're doing everything else. It really does streamline the process to have this melting, to clean your tins out, to get the wicks ready, to put the wicks in, and then you're just ready to mix your coloring and mix your fragrance and then pour. But for the sake of the video, I'm melting the wax during this step, just so you can see that happen. Now this is a piece of glitter that somehow got into the wax that I tried to remove with a pipette. Didn't happen, but sometimes wax does come with dirt and debris in it. You can use a spoon or pipette to extract it. The color that we're using today is Key West Green from Candle Science. It is a liquid candle dye, and it's available as well in dye block form. Now that the wax is completely transparent, I'm going to check its temperature and make sure that it's up to about 180-185 degrees Fahrenheit. Since it's up to temperature at 185 degrees Fahrenheit, we are now going to prepare 10 ounces of wax for 2 candles. We're going to start by putting the picture on the scale and tearing it out to 0. We want a 0 weight to start with. And then we're just going to keep filling up the picture until it hits 10 ounces. From here on out, we're going to move rather quickly because we don't want our wax to cool down too much. So immediately you're going to put in the coloring. I actually wanted to make this Key West green darker, so I put in a total of 9 drops. It didn't work like I wanted it to. I should have added just a touch of black to darken it up. However, it's very, very bright green. It's just what you think a Key West lime green would be. And as I've said in my other videos, there's no predetermined amount of time you have to stir this. Just make sure it's fully incorporated. Right now I'm checking the temperature one more time to make sure it's not above 165 degrees so we can add the fragrance oil. Our temps are perfect and we are going to be adding the whole 1 ounce bottle of the Cotton and Blossoms fragrance to the 10 ounces. Now that's a 10% fragrance load, and to figure out how much you use, you just multiply the ounces times the percentage. So in this instance, 10 ounces times 10% equals 1 ounce. This next step is really important because you want to fully incorporate the fragrance oil and the wax. So once you pour in your fragrance oil, mix for no less than 2 minutes. Alright, because we're working with more than one candle, we have to use our scale to weigh each candle out individually. Now remember, we use 10 ounces of wax, so each candle is at least going to be 5 ounces. Plus, we use 1 ounce of fragrance oil. So each candle is going to have half an ounce of fragrance oil in it, totaling 5.5 ounces each. Place your candle tin on the scale, tear it out to 0, and then pour 5.5 ounces of candle wax in each of your tins. Now, if you remember, each of these candle tins is an 8 ounce volume tin. Because wax is thicker than water, you're not going to get 8 ounces of wax in each tin. One of my biggest pet peeves is when candle companies mislead their customers by stating that the weight of the candle is more than it is. The legal requirements for labeling your candle require that the net weight be placed on the candle label. The net weight is the weight of the contents, not including the packaging. The candle tin is the packaging. So if you're going to start your own business, if you're going to start your own Disney candle company, then please, for the sake of everything good in the world, label your candles properly. Alright, so back to the task at hand. What I've been doing here is evening out my candle weights. One weighed more than the other, so I just used a pipette to even it out. Sorry I got a little preachy, everybody, but with that said, we are done. We just created 2 5.5 ounce candles using the same fragrance oil that the Magic Candle Company uses for their Orleans products. In just 24 hours, we're going to perform a test burn on one of the candles to show you how it looks, and then the other one is going to be added to the future giveaway. The candle looks good, it sounds good, it has a nice burn and a nice crackle. It's important to remember that this is not a Disney fragrance. This is not a Disney scent, guys. Not even close. It's from a company located in Ohio who sells fragrance oils for a living. It's not magical, but it is something you can quickly and easily do at home and save a ton of money doing it yourself. Well, I'm off to make my next video, and hopefully I don't come across anything scandalous this time. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe below to be notified every single time we release new Disney DIY content, which is a few times a week. Thanks for watching.